focus on the big story. Christine has, of course, taken us through a large number of the day's developments, but viewers, one story stands out. India, as you know, viewers, is leaving its stamp on the world. Today, India entered yet another rarefied club of global powers that has the capacity to manufacture combat helicopters and other light choppers. The Prime Minister today proudly laid the foundation stone for a brand new gleaming facility owned by the Hindustan Aeronautical Limited. We all know this company. Viewers, HAL is the name, the acronym with which it is commonly referred to. This new facility is the latest to open in Karnataka. Drones and Tejas aircrafts are already being built in the state. India is already self-reliant in manufacturing assault rifles, aircraft carriers, and fighter jets. These are no mean feats, viewers, because they suggest a high level of technical proficiency. It takes decades and decades and decades to build this kind of capacity. HAL is, of course, the same public utility company that was till recently dismissed by the opposition, in their words, as one looked over by Modi in favor of his suit and boot friends. This charge was in fact made with shrillness against Modi in 2018, when the opposition suggested that the Rafale deal was mired in corruption. In fact, the claim that Chowkidar is a chore was the Congress party's mobilizing war cry in the lead up to the 2019 Lok Sabha elections. You'll all remember that, viewers. Naturally, today, as Modi stood and dedicated the new HAL facility to this entire nation, he couldn't resist the temptation to remind the opposition of their fake claims and what he called was a transparent attempt at maligning the nation's image. Now, viewers, the Prime Minister hasn't really spoken before on the Rafale controversy, especially in these plain terms.
जिसे बहाना बनाकर हमारी सरकार पर तरह तरह के झूठे आरोप लगाए गए। यही HAL है जिसका नाम लेकर लोगों को भड़काने की साजिश रची गई, लोगों को उकसाया गया, पार्लियामेंट के घंटे से घंटे तबाह कर दिए। लेकिन मेरे प्यारे भाइयों बहनों, झूठ कितना ही बड़ा क्यों न हो, कितनी ही बार बोला जाता हो, कितने ही बड़े लोगों से बोला जाता हो, लेकिन एक न एक दिन वो सच के सामने हारता ही है।
Viewers, the Rafale issue was only one in a series when the opposition has stalled Parliament by resorting to claims that were subsequently disproved either by the courts or by investigations by independent entities. Now, I can take you through some of these issues, viewers, that led to a national split between the opposition and, of course, the government. So much so that days upon days of Parliament, which all of us, viewers, through our taxes underwrite, were washed away in complete unproductivity. In fact, viewers, at that time, the opposition quoted leaders from the BJP of yesteryears suggesting that it was their right to disrupt over some of these issues. Many people at that time had pointed out that perhaps the opposition was jumping the gun. Perhaps they needed to take a step back and analyze the facts because the facts certainly weren't adding up to suggest that there were either a scam or any wrongdoing committed by the government of the day. Naturally, viewers, when the judgments came, or when it became apparent to a large number of you that these were fictional, fake claims, viewers, voters such as you made up your mind by punishing this deceit. I don't need to tell you, viewers, there have been several elections where some of these issues became dominant themes, but unfortunately, the opposition couldn't quite prove their case and therefore also lost the goodwill of the electorate. But before that, let's just focus on the Rafale. In 2018, the winter session was completely washed out. The claim was that the BJP stole, in fact, the Prime Minister stole 30,000 crores from Air Force and put it in Ambani's pocket. That should read 30,000 crores, viewers. The reality is that the Supreme Court says that no case was made out to exercise jurisdiction of this entire issue. And the case that was brought against the Modi government suggesting that there was massive irregularity in the conclusion of this deal was thrown out of court. And with that also, of course, viewers, got committed to memory as a footnote the slogan, Chaukidar Chor Hai. Listen in to Rahul Gandhi in the context of the Rafale episode, viewers.
चौकीदार ने अनिल अंबानी की जेब में 30,000 करोड़ रुपए डाले.
There it is, unambiguous. That's what Rahul Gandhi had said. Demonetization, viewers. What was said? That demonetization was a fraud on the nation. It broke the common man's back. The reality is that the Supreme Court found reasonable nexus with objectives like eradicating black money, and viewers, it upheld demonetization of the economy at that period of time. And this is a recent judgment. Of course, viewers, all the basic claims were disseminated throughout the country in electoral campaigns, and the voter didn't buy it. Again, listen in to what the claims were.
नोटबंदी ने हिंदुस्तान की अर्थव्यवस्था पे, सिर्फ सूरत पे नहीं, हिंदुस्तान के गरीब लोगों पर, किसानों पर, मजदूरों पर, कारीगरों पर, स्मॉल एंड मीडियम इंडस्ट्रीज पे आक्रमण किया.
Now, viewers, back in time, the Gujarat riots, you all know. Let's go to the Gujarat riots, the third basic instance. The Gujarat riots, viewers, the second half of the budget session of 2002 was also washed out. So remember, the Prime Minister said that huge amounts of time of Parliament have been wasted by these fake campaigns. The claim was that the Modi government was responsible for abetting and pushing the 2002 Gujarat riots, or planning them, really. The reality is that the Supreme Court came out and said that the SIT considered all materials. The Special Investigation Team, of course, considered all materials. And final report by the SIT has been accepted. And viewers, it was a not guilty verdict. Even judge lawyers claim. But before that, listen in to how the Congress had framed Modi's involvement in the Gujarat riots.
गुजरात की सरकार चलाने वाले झूठे बेईमानी डर और मौत के सौदागर हैं.
Viewers, then of course there is the judge-lawyer death. The circumstances of death were suspicious, need an independent probe. The reality was that the Supreme Court dismissed the pleas seeking investigations in the death of judge-lawyer, and in fact rapped the opposition for making a big fabricated case. There was a very scathing observation that was made. And I'll read that out to you in the course of this debate. Now, viewers, as you know, we are speaking at a time when this current budget session of Parliament hasn't seen much order either. In fact, apart from the budget speech, and that, of course, went off without interruption, thankfully, each of the sessions of the two houses have been adjourned over the Adani stock meltdown post the publication of a report prepared by a group of short sellers that go by the name Hindenburg. The report that was timed to appear just days before the Adani follow-on public offering has been taken at face value, surprisingly so, viewers, to create a fear psychosis in the mind of ordinary investors, dampen sentiments, and accuse Modi of collusion with Adani despite some facts that ought to have been considered. Now, viewers, it's no one's case, and I made this earlier, that the SEBI should have acted earlier. It's no one's case, viewers, and I've said this earlier too, that the government should have come out with a more definitive clarification. This entire hype should not have gone to the levels that it has, resulting in investor money being eroded, viewers. The government should have been doing a better job. And if it believes that it has no role to interfere in the issues related to private companies, then certainly the Adani should have done a better job. But viewers, this entire crisis was hyped despite some basic facts, and I want to take you over them. The attack on Modi and Adani despite the US Department of Justice probe into Hindenburg. Had this been factored in, perhaps you and I or others would have been more skeptical. Hindenburg conflict of interest was discounted despite the admission that this group was into short selling. So clearly it wanted to drive down the stocks of Adani and profit. LIC exposure to Adani Group was less than 1% of its overall market exposure. This is an established fact, viewers. Easy for you to verify. Despite that, hype was created that public money was going to be lost. LIC exposure to Adani Group has yielded a profit of more than 80%. It's a fact that has been ignored. PSU bank exposure to Adani Group is less than 1% of their overall market exposure. Once again, viewers, this was blown out of proportion, suggesting that public money was at risk. Adani assets are at rupees 4.7 trillion as on February 2nd, which shows that they could have covered any exigency. But despite that, viewers, you have disruptions, you have mayhem, and you have a situation where it appears that fakery, bluster is derailing the nation. Is that so? Let's open this up. Is there a pattern? HAL to Rafale, Ambani to Adani, then and now, fakery derails the country, the desh. That's the basic question I'm asking, viewers, and let's open this up. And I want to first begin with Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, Member of Parliament and National Spokesperson of the BJP. Dr. Trivedi, many people will today say that the Prime Minister used an important event and turned it political. This was not anything to do with politics. This was about India's technical prowess being showcased. Why did he weave politics into it by making a reference to HAL? That's what a large number of people are asking. But what prompted the Prime Minister to say this? What's the BJP's view?
There was no indication of any political angle in this. It was nothing but upholding the capability and the responsibility which HAL is having. Because at the time it was said that our government had decided to deprive HAL of its due. On the contrary, the fact was that the HAL itself has written that they are having so many contracts for next 10 years, they will not be able to fulfill the obligation. And second thing, it was a technicality, because at the time of Rafale, it was said that the engine will be manufactured in Dassault Aviation and rest of the body will be manufactured in the HAL. So then came a liability issue. In case of any liability of failure, who will have the liability? Then the HAL was saying, we are not manufacturing the engine, how can we have the liability? They were saying, we are not having the entire thing, how we can have the liability? These were the technical issues, but unfortunately, Congress, which is in a persistent habit of putting allegation on any institution of the country. I would like to ask our dear friend from the Congress, Can they name a single institution which they have left without allegation in the last 9 years? Whether it is the Election Commission, whether it is the EVM, whether it is the Defense Army, or whether it is the Air Force, whether it is the anybody, whether it is the RBI, whether it is the government, whether now they are putting an allegation on LIC and others. So they are in a persistent habit of making unnecessary false claim. And so they are doing this, and we would like to remind on the Rafale issue, you remember? Such type of dastardly falsehood. When Rahul Gandhi has said that in private capacity, he was there in France and the president of France in a private negotiation has said this. Next day, French government has clear-cut issued a denial that nothing of this sort has happened. And still they are trying to put it. And on this issue of the Chaukidar, so-called Chaukidar Chor slogan, they have to officially tender an apology in the Supreme Court. So, from legal to political to moral, in every aspect they fallen flat. But क्या बताएं, जिसे कहते हैं कि लागी छूटे ना चाहे जाए जिया. So howsoever you can say costly this affair proving for their political outcomes, but they have become a victim of their own habit.
Well, let me tell you, viewers, as of May 2020, the Congress president Rahul Gandhi submitted an unconditional apology in the Supreme Court for attributing his political slogan Chaukidar Chor Hai to the top court, as well as, of course, viewers, to Narendra Modi. The Congress leader, in his 3-page apology, and I'm reading straight out of a news report, also requested the top court to drop proceedings in the case against him. And, of course, that matter, viewers, was resolved. The Supreme Court had also said, no doubt, the contemner should have been far more careful, that it would not like to continue these proceedings further, that the NDA has claimed. That was what the CNAG report had said. But viewers, as you know, the Supreme Court went over each one of these basic findings, and then came out and said that all of this was not scrutinizable. So let me just ask you, Mr. Sanjay Jha, and this is an accusation that the Prime Minister has made. He said that you had written off the prospects of HAL. Your boss, Rahul Gandhi, had come out and said very clearly that HAL was being overlooked so that Mr. Modi's suited and booted friends could be profited. Now you have a situation where HAL is expected to produce more than 1,000 helicopters with varying load-carrying capacities, in a total business of 4 lakh crores over the next 20 years. Clearly, it's not broke. It's not been overlooked. It's actually a massive contributor to our economy and the concept of Atmanirbharta, Sanjay Jha. So why are you relying on fakery constantly?
Rahul, you have raised many a point. Let me try and address them right away. Point number one, I would have liked it if the Prime Minister of our country had talked about the Adani issue, because that is exactly what is stalling Parliament. If he had the courage of conviction, if there was any political morality, the Prime Minister should have today addressed the issue that is, by the way, is bleeding not just the Adani Group, is affecting the credibility of the Indian stock markets, and people are looking at India's regulation and transparency as a massive banana republic manifestation. So I think Mr. Modi, if he's brought up Rafale, and I will tell you why that is another shameful reminder of the kind of malfeasance in this government. May I question this to the BJP MP Sudhanshu Ji, who happens to be a dear friend, and through him to Prime Minister Modi. Does Mr. Modi know that it is in the public domain that the decision to give 6 airports to Mr. Adani were actually done over objections of Niti Aayog in the Ministry of Finance? So I don't want to even get into the crony capitalism done by Mr. Modi himself, where Adani is concerned. Let's come to Rafale.
Okay, one second.
How many people
Sanjay
are aware, Rahul, just a minute. How many people are aware that Anil Ambani Group, barring maybe their infrastructure company, has declared bankruptcy? This is a group which was being given a contract for the offsets business of India's very significant investment in a Rafale jet to an industrial group preferred over Hindustan Aeronautics, and a group that is financially bankrupt. I think that is compromising India's national security.
No, but you're all. No, hang on. 1 second. Sanjay Jha. No, 1 second. I need to step in because these are important, very important conversations we are having tonight.
Yeah.
And we can't be factually wrong. It's not as if the Modi government gave the ADAG group the contract.
Who gave it?
Well, you tell me.
Well, I can tell you this for a fact.
Offset's contract was negotiated between the ADAG and Dassault Aviation.
Well, let me tell you, Rahul, it is in the public domain. I was the Congress spokesperson.
No, 1 second.
I know it through the back of my hand.
Let me get BJP
Why don't you quote the French president of the time?
Listen.
Who openly said that there was an undue pressure exerted on the French government and on the company.
That's actually something for Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi to rebut. But remember, viewers, this is a government-to-government deal. So French government. 1 second, Sanjay Jha, please 1 second. The French government entered into a contract with, viewers, the Indian government. There were no middlemen here. Each side had its various companies involved because there was going to be technology transfer, etc. And it was very transparent. And that's what the Supreme Court has said. I can read out what the Supreme Court has said. If this was
Rahul, there was no investigation on Rafale.
No, 1 second. One second, sir.
Please. Ended up becoming a Rajya Sabha member.
Please,
and we know what happened.
Please. Let's not be unfair, because there were several others who have been card-carrying members of the Congress party that became Supreme Court judges also. So let's be a little...
Was there a
little...
The Supreme Court never investigated it.
Sanjay Jha, I'm only saying, I beg your indulgence.
By the way, can be highly cosmetic and has no substance.
Okay. Let first Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi respond on fact, defend his party, and then viewers, I will tell you what the Supreme Court said.
Can we ask why Anil Ambani
Now,
Group
first thing, as far as that aspect is concerned, this Rafale deal, let me complete the sentence, sir. The Rafale deal was between the French government and the Indian government. So government of India is having no role as far as what Dassault Aviation is going to decide. It was between the French government and the Dassault Aviation. And as far as ADA group is concerned, sir, the biggest contract given was when the power contract of the Delhi NCT, किसकी government में दिया गया था? शीला दीक्षित जी की government. And you are in the habit of putting allegation on particular, नहीं, Rafale नहीं, अभी आपने बोला था, मैं Adani Group पे बोल रहा हूँ. In the last 6 months, the biggest contracts given to Adani Group is in Rajasthan, 60,000 crore rupees. How many you have withdrawn? What action you have taken? The biggest port contract is given to Kerala, from where the Rahul Gandhi is member of parliament, and Rajasthan is the biggest state in which you are having the government. I want a clear categorical answer. Why there is a two faces, one in Kerala and Rajasthan, another is Delhi. And that's why there is a crisis of credibility on your part. And other thing I would like to say, as far as Dassault Aviation and Government of India is concerned, it was government to government. Nothing to do with the private party, like in the case of Bofors and others, in which the then Government of India was dealing directly with the companies. Here, there was nothing of that sort. And finally, I would like to say, sir, again I am asking, name a single institution of the government on which you have tried. On the issue of judiciary, I would like to say to all the viewers, do you know any judge of the Supreme Court who was previously the member of parliament of the Congress, then he became judge, then again he became member of parliament of the Congress, then he again became judge? It was Justice Baharul Islam. क्या गजब है साहब, पहले MP फिर जज हाई कोर्ट का, फिर MP फिर सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जज, that too after a gap.
Rahul, a quick response to Sudhanshu ji. No. Sudhanshu ji, I think the Congress party and its manifesto...
1 second, Sanjay Jha, there's another point. No, hang on, there's another factual...
mention
1 second.
That they will criminally investigate the Rafale deal because the Prime Minister has a lot to explain to the country. This deal is not over.
1 second. We can keep talking about it. Please, 1 second. The dust is long settled. You lost an election. You made that the main campaign issue. Chaukidar chor hai. You had to apologize for it. 1 minute. I don't want to go back in time. I want to focus on the current issues at hand also. Sanjay Jha, 1 minute.
The Supreme Court said that.
Okay, Sanjay Jha, these are your words, not mine.
Not an apology to Mr. Modi.
Okay.
It was an apology because it was inferred that he said that the Supreme Court called Mr. Modi a chowkidar chor hai.
Yes,
So
you
please,
took
let's
that
get
slogan.
That
You took.
established
I
here.
have already said that. I've already established it. You know better than I made that
Rahul,
point
the
very clearly.
suspended Congress leader is more active than the functional Congress leader.
भैया हम लोग
Lokesh Jindal, one second.
18 की लड़ाई करते हैं
Okay,
भैया।
no personal jibes. 1 second. Let me come in here. Now let's all behave, please. 30 seconds, please. Now, viewers,
Sudhanshu,
let me tell you.
please,
Sanjay Jha just said on the channel that there are many people who are saying that India has now, on the back of this Adani deal, got banana republic manifestations.
Absolutely.
Now, viewers,
I stick by it.
you stick by it. Now, if India was a banana republic, would any FDI be flowing into this country, viewers? Now, let me give you some statistics. It's not as if Adani made his millions overnight, viewers. So we would have had to be a banana republic for a significant amount of time for him to enrich himself as the Congress claims.
Since 2014, I would say.
Since 2014. Now, let me give you the statistics, viewers. And I'm talking about FDI inflows, how they've increased over time in billions of dollars. So 2018, 2019, $62 billion. 2019, 2020, $74.39 billion. 2020, 21, $81.97, $82 billion. Today, viewers, 83.
See them, Rahul, as a percentage of GDP. See them as a
I'm
percentage
talking
of
about
GDP.
sir.
It has gone nowhere.
Sir, please. I'm
has gone
talking.
nowhere
1
as a
second.
percentage
I'm
of
talking.
GDP.
Excuse me. I'm talking
has to
about.
be looked in
Excuse me,
percentages,
sir.
Rahul.
In just 3 years, despite COVID, viewers, you have seen a 20% increase in FDI inflows into the country.
As a
And on the back of that,
it's actually gone down.
Are you living in, sir, some cloud cuckoo land? Do you know there is a war going on in Ukraine? Do you know, sir, there has been COVID and that's had a generally depressing effect on anyone doing business in the global economy. Despite that, India is getting in this flow. What does that tell you? This is a vote of confidence. Am I wrong? Let me bring in Ishkaran Bhandari and Lokesh Jindal into this. Ishkaran Bhandari, we can keep arguing, cutting statistics this way, that way, damn lion statistics, we all know. But the fact is that the India story is a growing story. And interest in India is also growing, and I'm giving you the statistics.
Yes. Rahul, there are many issues in this debate, but let's focus on defense manufacturing because it really gets the attention it should get. So I'll just focus on that for a minute. Please understand, while our army is the bravest of the brave, but defense manufacturing is a political decision also, which will be brought out by certain facts I will state. Firstly, the first corruption scandal in India was Krishna Menon purchasing those jeeps which India needed in Indo-Pakistan war. That was the first corruption scandal, and the unfortunate reality was till 2014, 50% of our budget for purchasing was going for import. Those are statistics. 50% of $63 billion international market, we became the highest purchaser along with the client state Saudi Arabia. That was the defense manufacturing condition of our country. Our army was incredible then, it is incredible today. But the decision not to manufacture in India was of the governments in power. So let us be very clear on fact number one. Fact number two, it is a political decision under which this government has banned 411 import items of defense. Fact number three, the percentage of import has come down to merely 35% now. Still too much, but from around 50 to 35% in absolute terms as well as percentage terms, it has come down. Fact number four, from a very, very narrow base, we have become 8 times. Our defense export has grown 8 times. That has happened under this government. That is fact number four. Fact number five, not only HAL, 84,000 crore proposals have been cleared, which is 68% of military capital acquisition budget for this year. So next year it will probably be around 30% is what we report. All these are political decisions which this government has taken. The unfortunate reality was, be it the Jeep scandal or the Bofors case, there was a lobby which did not want to manufacture in India because they had Swiss accounts, because they had money outside, and they were being...
So let me tell you.
Given one last point, I'll just 10 seconds more. They were being given kickbacks outside, exemplified by Uncle Kutrochi. That is the reality.
Okay, well, viewers, 1 second, Sanjay Ji, 1 second, 30 seconds, please, we're not going away anywhere. I just want to bring certain facts and just take off from where Ishkaran Bhandari ended. He talked about a certain cabal of people. Now, Viewers, these are the Supreme Court's words, not Rahul Shivashankar's words. It does appear that the endeavor of the petitioners is to construe themselves as an appellate authority to determine each aspect of the contract and call upon the court to do the same. So viewers, the Supreme Court accuses the petitioners, who were well-known Modi baiters, NDA baiters, nothing wrong with that. You can take anyone to court, and said that they were pursuing the ends or construing themselves as an appellate authority in their own right, viewers. So they call themselves, in some way, a court in their own right. It would well nigh become impossible for different opinions to be set out in the record if each opinion was to be construed as to be complied with before the contract was entered into, or it would defeat the very purpose debate in the decision-making process. We are thus of the view that the review petitions are without any merit and are accordingly dismissed, once again re-emphasizing that our original decision was based within the contours of Article 32 of the Constitution of India. Now, this was also roughly said in the judge-lawyer issue, Mr. Lokesh Jindal. Should I remind you of what was said about the judge-lawyer issue and what the Supreme Court has said about a group of individuals that construed cases, faked depositions, got people to fake claims in the Gujarat 2002 riots case, Mr. Jindal? This has become a script. You manufacture facts, you then hold up parliament, you cause a loss to the exchequer at a time when what India needs, viewers, is sustained growth. The world is wanting us, welcoming us. And we have an opposition that is using, according to at least these facts that I presented to you, viewers, fake inputs to make up make-believe controversies and stall the business of legislation. Now,
Rahul,
will Lokesh Jindal respond?
let me comment, please. Let me comment. In June 2021, Media Upfront, it came out with accusation against the government, and one French judge was appointed to look into the allegations of corruption, and it is still going on. In fact, recently Media Upfront has come out with certain proofs that faked invoices were submitted, middlemen were involved, and in fact, September deal was an emergency deal done by the BJP government so as to benefit the Ambanis. In fact, you talk about 2017. What happened in August 2018? We had Reliance Entertainment funding a movie of the ex-French president's partner. The entire nation knew that just barely after a month, in September 2016, the IG agreement was signed between the Indian government and the French. And on 3rd of October, Dassault Reliance Aerospace Limited was formed. Now, please tell me, and please tell the viewers, what qualification does Anil Ambani have, and why is it that the very MMRCA contract,
why are you asking Modi?
Contract was introduced by the UPA government, and the 2014 work share agreement, it gave the offset to HAL.
Jindal Saab.
And what does HAL employees say
Jindal
right now? That after this particular deal given to the Reliance, the people in HAL, they are looking for an uncertain future. In fact, it is so uncertain
that HAL, viewers, goes on to sign thousands and thousand lakh crores of contracts. Can you believe it, viewers? If it was so overlooked, so discriminated against, what is it doing with so many contracts? Let me give you a figure, viewers. HAL has confirmed that during 2014 and 2018, 2014, according to the Congress, was, Mitra Kal. So from Mitra Kal, according to the Congress, to 2018, here are the facts. Contracts amounting to 26,570,000 crore rupees have already been signed with HAL, and orders approximately 73,000 crore rupees are in the pipeline. The details of these orders were placed by the Defense Minister. The documents clearly confirm the correctness of my statement, and the doubts raised in this regard are incorrect and misleading. This is what, as Defense Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said, these have never been contested, viewers. HAL is thriving. HAL is manufacturing. while the opposition is manufacturing lies.
Official statement.
Secondly, viewers, let me also put it on record here. Lokesh Jindal has confirmed what Sanjay Jha was not confirming, that the deal between ADAG Group, which is Anil Ambani, was one between Dassault Engineering or Aeronauticals, call it what you want to, and Anil Ambani, nothing to do with the government. In fact, let me tell you what the Supreme Court said about this. Despite the aforesaid illustration, the petitioners kept on emphasizing. Listen, is the Supreme Court wrong? Go to clause 31.
Listen.
No, please, I'm not listening to you. You are coming up with some media part company. Tomorrow you say Wire magazine, Haywire, something. God alone knows what else. Show me one official document, and this is what the Supreme Court says. One second. This is what the Supreme Court says. Look, why are you shouting over me, Mr. Jindal? Why? Why are we doing this to each other? Don't. Please let me. No, you've completed. You completed. You made a mistake. I'm correcting you on record.
I didn't make a mistake. You are making a mistake.
Okay, if I'm making a mistake quoting the Supreme Court, then sir, hang me. But listen to me and let me quote the Supreme Court once for my viewers. Let them know the facts. I never like to stand between the facts and the viewer, because viewers, you know that this show is built on hard fact. And every argument here is built on a hard fact. And let me just tell you, clause 31. Despite the aforesaid illustration, the petitioners kept on emphasizing that the French government has no say in the matter, as per media reports. Again, viewers, media reports. Again, Lokesh Jindal quoting media reports. It is also stated that there was no reason for Dassault to have engaged the services of Reliance Aerostructure Limited through a joint venture when the company itself had come into being only on the 24th of April 2015. The allegation thus is that the Indian government gave a benefit to Reliance Aerostructure Limited by compelling Dassault to enter into a contract with them, and that too at the cost of the public enterprise HAL. Then it goes on to say in 32, it is no doubt true that the Reliance company has come into being in the recent past, but the press release suggests that there was a possibility, an arrangement between parent Reliance company and Dassault starting from the year 2012. Before Modi. 2012 viewers. As to what transpired between the two corporates would be a matter best left to them, being matters of their commercial interests as perceived by them. There has been a categorical denial from every side of the interview given by the former French president, seeking to suggest that it is the government of India which had given no option to the French government in this matter on the basis of materials available before us. This appears contrary to the clause in DPB 2013 dealing with IOPs, which has been extracted above. Thus, the commercial arrangement, in our view itself, does not assign any role to the Indian government at this stage with respect to the engagement of the IOP, which is viewers, Ambani's, especially Junior Ambani. Such matter is seemingly left to the commercial decision of Dassault Engineering, which is a French company. Fact-checked viewers, QED, it's over.
I have an important point.
Nothing more, sir. The Supreme Court's word
No, you are mistaken.
Ishkaran Bhandari coming in
there
very
is one very important point to be.
There is Rahul. Let me just one point. There has been a persistent attempts to misquote the Supreme Court. That is why Rahul Gandhi had to apologize. The same strategy is unfortunately being followed in 2023 also. Sometimes they will refer to some Wire, Liar, whatever magazine, sometimes to BBC, sometimes to Mediapart. The fact of the matter is the courts have ruled on it. The public have voted on it in 2019. They should admit it.
I just also want to bring to your attention viewers, small fact on foreign direct investment. There is a grouping of countries called the BRICS. And while India is receiving FDI, let me tell you about the B in the BRICS, which is Brazil. Foreign direct investment for 2020 was $37 billion, a 45% decline from 2019 viewers. Brazil foreign direct investment for 2019 was 69.17 billion, 11.7% decline from 2018. Brazil foreign direct investment for 2018 was 78 billion, a 13.47 increase from 2017. Brazil foreign investment for 2017 was 68 billion dollars, 7.28% decline from 2016. That's Brazil, viewers, sinking while India is rising. And you won't be told that, especially not in Parliament. Perhaps that's why there are disruptions, because these facts might just emerge. I'll leave it at this.